Timeout. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Super Theory Podcast. As always, I am here with my co-host, Chris Green.
What's up, man? How you been?
Oh man, I'm doing probably better than usual, I would say. Honestly, wouldn't you?
Man, I am doing the best I've been since quarantine. How about that?
You know what? I'm right there with you, dude. This is episode 10. We're going to be talking about Fandome. Uh, Man, holy shit, right? You know?
Yeah, we talked about kind of what we expected going into it, but I mean, dude, like, wha- I mean, I was, there were some panels, I guess, that didn't really pique my interest as much. I still sat and watched a bunch because I wanted to get DC every streaming view they could get.
Sure.
Uh, but man, everything exceeded my expectations.
Bro, I'm right there with you. I don't think I was underwhelmed whatsoever. Uh, if anything, our cup runneth over, you know?
Well, you know what
Uh,
I thought of is had this been just a normal Comic Con on San Diego, like a San Diego Comic Con, we would have gotten somebody's bootleg version of the trailers that they
oh,
took from their phones secretly, and it would have been shaky, and we would have been like, "Holy shit, what did we see?" So this was like best case scenario
yeah,
in a weird way.
100%. You know what? I totally agree. Um, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this trend keeps on going. You know,
Yeah, especially now. I mean,
all the fans got to see everything they wanted. No one had to buy crazy plane tickets and get a hotel and come from around the world because nobody could,
right.
granted.
Yep.
But like at the same time, I think it made it better because every single fan, no matter what class you are as far as economy, whether what part of the world you're in, all were able to see and hear the same things at the same time, and for literally like experience this as a global community.
Yep.
Which I think the ability to do that on top of everything and have it run smooth. By the way, no glitches whatsoever. This wasn't Arkham Origins on Xbox. This was,
Right.
I mean, this worked. Their
Well, and they
servers
got
didn't
to.
crash.
Yeah, I
Nothing.
was actually worried about that, but this was the best way to get their product out. And I get the idea of the Comic Cons where you want to reward the quote unquote super fans.
Sure.
But there are a lot more fans out there that just can't get to that event in time. They can't get their Hall H tickets before they sell out, and so it becomes a very small crowd that gets to see these teasers, and they would just do themselves a lot uh, bigger favors if they would just do that this way all the time.
And I mean,
They
immediate
get the most eyes
impact.
on it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen the views on the trailers that went on during Fandom, and they're higher than, I mean,
I would
they're
imagine
just
it's.
higher this way.
I would imagine some records got broken as far as speeds to certain amount of views, maybe. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, speeds as far, and granted, this is a weird selection, but like speed from it being announced to it being seen to it being online available for everyone. Because there's
Right.
even, I mean, everyone knows there's a delay when you go to like real Comic Cons. Like,
Yep.
there's probably about I would say anywhere from 10 to 30-minute difference maybe was when it actually gets put online. But like,
Yep.
everyone got to see, experience, talk about it all at the same time. Even though we're in
Yep.
different time zones, it was all being shown at the same time. So like,
Yep.
it, the potential for everyone to experience that all at the same time is something very special that they probably never even counted on in the first place.
Yep. Yeah, I
And
think that whatever they thought going into it, it was still obviously a trial run for the company,
mhm.
and they're so pleasantly surprised they're doing another one in less than a month.
Yeah, and before we get into the main things we want to talk about today, I do want to. I'm not one for drama, but I do think the coincidences are pretty staggering as far as uh, DC get the fandom getting broken up into 2 days, and announcements of investigations into Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg from the Justice League. Uh,
Yeah, short of their because it's called the multiverse for the
mhm.
second event, I still think in the back of my mind that's when maybe they plan to show that type of stuff. Maybe they feel like they can wrap up their investigation, and because he's doing a Green Lantern supposedly TV show, maybe that was the plan the whole time was to make him kind of part of the multiverse section of it.
Maybe, but I feel like that dude's in hotter water than he could probably handle right now in these times.
For sure.
And I would be very surprised if he showed up. If anything, this is given like a little bit of a buffer to know that he will be on screen to speak maybe, and people can just not watch it, if they don't want to.
Mute.
Because right now, I mean, if you're a DC fan, there's a big chance that even though you appreciate what Jeff Johns has contributed to the comics and everything, the fact that he could have been an enabler during all this time, and again, these are alleged, these are allegations. Obviously, nothing's proven, but I tend to believe Ray Fisher 100%. And we'll talk about why when we see when we talk about the trailers.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I don't know because they showed a lot of the teasers to what we kind of wanted. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
wonder what they're even thinking about showing for the multiverse.
Right.
But I'll be tuning in, so they already got my attention.
Yeah, and I know. Again, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, uh, I wouldn't say there's disappointment. If anything, maybe some understanding of the fact that why an Ayer cut didn't get announced that day is because I'm pretty sure everyone knew it was Zack Snyder Day. Uh, I mean, obviously Snyder Cut first and foremost, even if it gives way to Ayer Cut, which I would probably say is on par with demand with Snyder Cut, but in the way everyone wants to see all of Joker's storyline versus an entire version of a movie.
Right,
Um,
I agree.
I think people are just so frustrated by the lack of Joker and what we all know could and will be when we get to see it. Uh, I mean, the guy's an Oscar winner. Okay, if anything, you show as much of as possible of that character. Will
Yeah,
Smith doesn't have an Oscar,
right. Yeah,
and
the only thing I wonder, even though Leto and Affleck are somehow the same age, I think he really is Morbius, the living vampire.
yeah,
Um, his desire to return to that project, who knows? He shot all of his scenes in a similar manner that Ben Affleck did. We didn't
mm-hmm.
think Ben Affleck would come back. Turns out he's going to. We'll get into that later. But
Woo,
with Jared Leto doing a couple things now, it would obviously get a higher reception, getting to see an Ayer cut. Uh, would that result in him wanting to come back to the role? I don't. They would have to offer him something substantial,
yeah,
and not maybe one of these one-off things that what people are speculating Affleck's going to do.
and I think if you're to put luck on anything, one thing is Zach loved him as the Joker, and
Yep,
he is essentially going to probably become a bigger figurehead than he was previously. I would imagine, as far as creative.
that'd be
Um,
great, man. I hope he gets.
I hope
He's
he
got
gets his
a.
due.
I don't remember if he has a producer credit or not on the Justice League. I'm pretty sure he has some recognition in there.
Yeah.
Um, But at least attaching him, I mean, Christopher Nolan has, I think, a producer credit on Man of Steel.
Yes.
So just getting him on in some direction where they at least ask his point of view. I mean, I remember there was at one point some Zack Snyder fatigue that a lot of people started talking about after the theatrical version of BVS,
Hmm.
and I think that's now in a 3-year time period flipped a complete 180.
Yeah.
And they realized that just the fanship for the material and he as a director specifically is never been larger.
And I mean, people are gonna continue as they already have done. Of like, the idea is to see the ultimate version, not the theatrical cut of BVS. And then Zach's tone is spot on what you're
Well,
expecting.
I kind of think like at this point, how the events happened, the tragedy of his daughter,
Hmm.
um, him getting replaced, etc. These line of events actually ended up being the only way we would get a 4-hour full cut of his movie because even when he was discussing like the 214-minute cut, that's not
Hmm.
4 hours. So
No.
even in that scenario, if they would have let him do that, he would have had to cut out scenes he didn't want to. So we're
Right.
really going to get to see the full version. And what does that look like moving forward if he does get asked to do another project? If it's going to be solely HBO Max, then he can keep doing 4-hour things.
Yeah.
But if he's going to go back to theaters, he can't do a 4-hour movie. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. And so let's jump right into this. This is episode 10. We're gonna title it Hallelujah, for obvious reasons. But we're gonna talk about first about the Snyder Cut trailer. Probably everything everyone was hoping for and more. Uh, with the sweet nod to the song Hallelujah that was played in Watchmen. Um, and also just the weight behind that song, behind the trailer, being able to give the fans exactly what they fought for is, I mean, you couldn't bundle it up in a better package.
Yeah, and it's clear with the Christian allegories we see in the previous movies that that song has a specific meaning for Zack Snyder. Um, everything he went through with his daughter. He kind of touched on that in the interview after Fandome. This just felt like the perfect song choice. He
Mm-hmm.
originally said that he had a 5.5 minute cut of this trailer, and
Fuck.
it was more, yeah, and it was more just, and he's had it for a long time, and it was just more of getting it cut down to a normal teaser side, and could they finish the scenes within it?
Hmm.
That he was worried about getting it ready for Fandom. So that just tells me that there's so much that we're going to see, and obviously without going scene by scene within the
Sure.
trailer,
Yeah.
just my mind being blown just by getting to see a fuller, uh, at the very beginning, seeing a fuller scene of what the nightmare scenario was, and getting to
Just,
see the
yeah.
elements of the Justice League damaged, and
A
just
fuller
seeing the
glimpse
scale of
at
it.
what he was trying to put across, I would say, because
Right,
even just just the Speed Force, seeing the Speed
right,
Force start, it, from Zack Snyder's view, who's like the most, one of the biggest visual directors there is, seeing something so gigantic like the idea of the Speed Force is kind of incredible to come from him first. You know what I mean?
right. Yep.
Like, that is gonna be some crazy Christopher Nolan Tenet shit. You know what I mean? Or Tenet.
Well, and he said, I think in that the interview I was watching, that that was a concept they had in mind for a long time, but didn't necessarily know how to adapt that or what it would actually look like on screen.
Yeah.
And so I like that we're going to really see something we haven't. It's sort of like how I felt in was it Days of Future Past, the X-Men movie with where we
Yeah.
got to see Quicksilver. I mean, seeing that, it blew my mind, and I was like,
Right.
damn, that would have been a good scene for Flash. Is the first thing I
Yeah.
thought.
And now you
So
get,
it's going to be awesome.
yeah. I God, and one of the other things, not only to see the Speed Force, but like, there was a lot of talk, and rightfully so. One of the big things was that, like, Ray Fisher's main story arc gets cut out, and you see these like 3 or 4 shots split. Not even, I wouldn't say split seconds, but a couple second shots of Cyborg's story. You see that his dad didn't live happily ever, or at least supposedly,
Right.
could be anything,
Right.
but supposedly his dad died right in front of him while
Right.
trying to, I'm guessing, do something to a mother box with some sort of laser. It looked like he was trying to break it down or cut it. I don't really know, but
Yeah.
like, and seeing Cyborg stuck there, which you and I kind of quickly talked about, like maybe Darkseid is holding him in place to watch his dad die, and that's why he can't do anything. Seeing that, seeing the tear, the that just depth of a tear that comes out of his right eye as it looks like he's trying to pull away from the Thrash and he can like barely move, you know. Uh,
Yep.
but I mean, just god damn, what an actor already, you know. Just and someone said it best in a tweet, and I'm sure it got reply or multiplied by other people. But like the idea that this trailer is better than the entire movie that came out, you know, a few years ago is one, kind of what we were expecting, but two, seeing it in broad daylight in front of our face is also just kind of utterly amazing.
Yeah, the fact that it just makes it just for all the love that Joss Whedon got after the first Avengers movie, um, and then I mean he got tired after doing Ultron, and Ultron wasn't as good as the first Avengers movie, but god damn, it was like he chose everything that wasn't comic book accurate and just decided to roll with it. Just seeing Superman in the black suit the whole fucking time is worth it.
Yeah,
That makes it better already. Not just him walking up, out of the ship, him standing there with the fucking Justice League in his black suit, which serves a purpose. It's not just, oh, hey, he's dark, emo Superman. Like, that helps him regenerate faster in the comics. So there's a
right.
point to it. And he just takes it out, and you're just like, come on. I just like the fact that Snyder had said at one point the scene where in the first movie, in the Justice Cut, where we see Steppenwolf attack, and we get to see every alliance of everyone attacking each other. We get to see gods, other lanterns, etc. Zach said that was originally a 15 to 20-minute part in the movie.
Which I
So if
mean
that's the fucking case,
lines up perfectly with kind of the way he shows history in his movies. Like,
right?
you know, he did it in
Exactly.
Man of Steel with Krypton. He did it in BVS with like the history of like where Batman's brain has been for the last 18 months is when the
Yep.
world first got met into Superman. And then, I mean, that fits. I mean, of course it would be that long, and of course it would be super detailed, super visual. It's fucking 300, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
because it's sort of like Steppenwolf comes down to Earth. Oh, everyone's overwhelmed. Oh, never mind. We just gathered everyone's army. Oh, we
yeah,
beat him back. No big deal.
yeah,
You're like, well, that was over in 2 minutes.
yeah. And let's go bury
And
this one in the woods.
oh, I know. And we're only going to put it 3 feet deep.
Yeah,
I'm
not
like,
even a
well,
corpse worth.
no, not even. I just know that there were some actors who have trained hardcore to play those roles.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's No, I guess that's Zeus. Maybe it's Zeus, or was it Hercules that we see
Uh,
running up?
I don't remember. I think it might
Yeah,
have been
he
Hercules.
he
I don't
he
know.
had commented that he had a way larger part than what was shown.
Yeah.
So there you go. The
I
fact that all of Ray Porter's stuff was cut is enough to infuriate me. So
yeah.
I'm just glad we're going to see more Darkseid. Obviously, they're going to polish up his look, more
Yeah. I
than
mean,
we
that
got to see on
UX's
the TV.
shot was amazing though. I mean,
Right.
that was super clean. And
Yep.
right away, I again, this is something we talked about quickly, but like as soon as the trailer starts, you see the format that it's going to be shown in, the
Yep.
133. I was fine with it immediately. I mean, I didn't have
Yeah.
it was much easier to get used to than like the weird widescreen top bottom bar stuff, you know what I mean? Like
Oh, that shit
it was all
infuriates me
centered.
because yeah, you buy a new TV and you get a reduced screen.
Right.
You know.
It's that shit is infuriating from a
Yeah.
technological point of
So
view.
what was the best part of the trailer to you?
Probably. I mean, first thing that comes to mind is Affleck at the end, just saying, "I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells." Uh, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
he
awesome.
says the United line too, which obviously you know that's great. It's Justice League, but just that, I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. That is that is some
That's like
fucking badass writing. Chris
Yeah,
Terrio.
and it's no longer a Batman who is secretive with his plan. He's like, fuck this guy,
Yeah,
let's get him. You know?
yeah. And man, what a relief for that Batman to be able to just speak his mind and
Yes.
not hide himself from Alfred about his real plans as far as like what he's really planning to do on Superman. Like
Yep.
it's all out there. Batman, like you said, Batman's like fuck this motherfucker.
Yep.
Like he's fighting us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that was just if you're gonna put one Batman line in the trailer, that's for sure it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I'm glad they saved it for the end because, you know, we're gonna probably see a lot of basically every character. Probably if I had to rank them, Cyborg's story will be the most different.
mm-hmm.
And then probably we'll get to see tons more Batman after that. So I like that he ended the trailer that way. But my favorite scene, as far as like emotionally, the gravitas behind it was where they finally revealed Assad.
Oh yeah,
Um, and then we immediately get the scene of Cyborg that looks like he's just absolutely wasted and crying.
yeah.
And then the arc of the song playing in the background kind of raises a little bit, and it
Mm-hmm.
just fucking hit me pretty good.
Yeah.
It
No,
was a
I'm right
really
there
good
with you.
moment.
I one thing I was going to touch on earlier when we were talking about Justice League and comic accuracy and just him uh, and what Zach didn't get to do. I can't imagine the frustration. Aquaman is specifically coming to mind, but I can't imagine the frustration behind what Zach must have felt not being able to direct the people he cast in the first place.
Right.
Like he got to do the first three, but he didn't get to direct Flash or Aquaman or Cyborg. Well, I mean, he did, but no one got to see it. I should say
Well,
that.
explain to me how the two scenes we see of Aquaman, specifically where he's talking to uh,
Mira.
Amber Heard's character, yeah, Mira, and then we see him, you know, jumping in the ocean. Already looks 100 times better than what
Oh,
we got in the Justice League because he was like way cleaner cut in the Justice League.
yeah,
And the after he saves, I assume we'll still see him save the person from the sea, and then he eventually drinks and then goes out in the ocean. He was
yeah,
rugged as hell in this
bro,
trailer.
straight up rugged, and that's. I think. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure that's what Zach was wanting from the beginning. Like, this is a dude
Yeah, exactly.
who's like they kind of played it in Aquaman, but played it family friendly because it came after Justice League. But like, this is
Right.
a dude who didn't really belong one place or another. You know, like
Right.
he was just out there, and
The Snyder Cut is going to end up being what makes me believe they can do a side movie called The Trenches based
yes,
off the Aquaman spinoff because it's a dark enough tone. When they
yes,
announced kind of that plan after I saw the Aquaman movie, I was like, oh, that seems like way too dark for what I just watched.
right. No, I agree.
So yeah, it would be way more believable that way.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, overall, I loved it. I definitely wasn't expecting Hallelujah to play, which caught me
Yeah.
off guard, but I got it, you know, after a bit. But I at the same time, I wasn't expecting that clear cut look at Darkseid as Uxas or whatever, and so
Yeah, dude,
they
I was
kind
gonna
of
say
played
that
in
Omega
together.
symbol.
What's that?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's his breastbone or whatever.
Yeah, and that's
That's badass.
perfect, man. Perfect.
Yeah,
You know, maybe we see a grown-up dark side, and then eventually he's got the suit armor, and then he's got the thing on his chest. But this is just like a intro, like awesome, man.
yeah. I do want to point out just some things that were pointed out on the internet. Thank God we have the internet.
Yep.
In the nightmare shot, there are things to show us what is kind of canon. The Joker card flies by, which means Jared Leto is still canon. Aquaman's King Trident is stuck into a column, so the Aquaman movie itself is canon. Wonder Woman's shield is broken. It's canon, which I mean was kind of obvious. Wonder Woman was going to be canon either way.
Right.
Uh, but like just seeing those little details, and knowing again, we saw 2 minutes and like 24 seconds of footage. This is going to be a 4 hour or 4 episode 1 hour series or 1 hour each series. So like we saw like 0.04% maybe.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
this is nothing, and it's everything at the same time.
Yeah. I know watching the first cut, and it was just Batman. And I think we theorized a little bit if Green Arrow was also in the truck. But I
Yes.
was immediately like, where the fuck is everyone else?
Right.
Like, are
Yep.
you telling me that Batman, because his survival instinct, has survived everything within a very quick time period? And now it makes more sense. We get to see the crumbles of humanity around that area,
Yeah.
and everyone else died.
It looks like they just came straight down into. I mean, I'm guessing what was Wayne Manor because that still gets turned into the Hall of Justice.
Right.
So I'm guessing Darkseid or whoever beamed straight down into that, and fucking destroyed it all. You know what I mean? There was some big
Yep.
war, and then they started from there.
Right.
Uh, I'm guessing it makes the most sense to see it crumble that much and then see that big Omega sign in the ground behind it.
Yep. I
Uh,
agree.
but I just, God, I'm so excited for what that is going to be and what's capable of happening. Uh,
Well,
and again,
what do you think moving forward is the time frame for like we'll see the next trailer? Because
I
it is
would
a little bit
say
different.
Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Okay.
I think now that all the fans have been given everything they could need and want, and possibly more, to hold them over,
Okay.
uh, I think that's going to
Because it's
open up
supposed to be
some.
like a fall 2021 release, we think.
I
So
don't
that's
know.
September, October.
I think this. I think he's going to want to get it to us as soon as he
Okay.
can, because I think that's the whole point. Is that like we've been waiting so long to see this. How the minimal amount of time it's going to take for you to finish it up the way you want it and polish it the way you want it. You know, taking your time, respectful to that, but also like not a whole fucking year. Like I imagine
Right.
there's a pretty good compromise that he's going to want to get it to us in at least the first quarter. So I would
Yeah.
say by March or April.
Okay. So yeah, I'll differ with you on that because I would imagine it's going to be the idea for HBO Max is they probably looked at where the slump months are for their viewing or when they have shows lined up, and they're going to slot it in whenever it's the lowest because it's going to get people amped. You're not going to want to put that on when it's competing against whatever their flagship show is. So
Right.
I would imagine if he had to scramble to put this trailer that he already had a 5 minute really rough cut to, I would imagine he's going to at least put another 6 months in. But I would hope uh, 6 months in to get it to the point where he feels like, okay, we can kind of get it together because I would imagine we're not going to see another trailer until like next year. Only
I'm
because it's a
only.
movie that people have seen a lot, and the
Mm-hmm.
more and more he reveals in his trailer, he's just releasing his movie.
Right. I am going to disagree with you. I think we'll probably see something else by Christmas. Um,
Okay.
I again, this is a shit. Honestly, there's a good chance we could get another thing at the second day of Fandom
You
in
think so?
September. I don't necessarily think so, but I wouldn't just be like, no, he's not going to do anything. Like, I mean, it is obviously well known around the world, especially now, how big of a thing this is, especially to the people that have been fighting for it since for 3 years.
Well,
Uh,
to me, I think what would be perfect is I don't think you need necessarily three trailers before you get a release because if that's the case, it really will be a year before we see it. Because
right.
you have to imagine he'll do one in December, then maybe he does one March, April, and then we're getting into the late July, targeted dates. Um, I just want him to, I don't know, I'm just on the side of not wanting to see a ton of surprises unless it's something shocking like a Green Lantern, not a reveal, but maybe just a hint towards it or, something in that manner.
I think one thing that needs to be taken into consideration is that it's going to be broken up into four parts. So, uh, and that could go one of two ways. It could be one a month, or it could be one a week for a month, um, because they want to make sure that people who sign up I mean, I'm guessing part of the idea behind this is to get more subscribers instead of like people signing up the first day, watching it, and then canceling their membership the same day.
Right.
They want to get a month's worth out of them at least, if not a little more. I have a hard
If
time
if they
seeing us.
released one, if they released one a week, I'm sorry, it, would that would once a week bother you?
No, because I mean, that's it, right now. It's playing out as a limited series. So, like HBO did Chernobyl, and that was like I think it was 6 episodes. It was 4 to 6 episodes. I don't remember. Um, but it was like one a week for like a month and a half
Okay.
maybe. And since this is only going to be 4 episodes, I imagine it's going to be once a week for a whole month. Um, but I that being broken up into a series versus a movie is just could give them more variables and things to play with as far as uh, uh, how to release it or how to release teasers and trailers and when
Yeah,
to release them.
That's one thing Zach said that he did not have a clue on how they would end up doing that.
Right.
That he pitched the show as you guys have all the options and how you want to do it. He didn't necessarily say let's do it in an episodic type show, but he's not in control of that. So I would just imagine he wants to try to finish it as soon as possible, and then he's just kind of at the mercy of when HBO Max wants to release it.
Yeah.
Because
And the
they're
thing,
going to do some prep work for it for at least 3 months of like coming in whatever month, and then they're going to do some previews and all that stuff, like they
yeah,
do other shows.
they might just go a whole new route because I mean this is like a thing that's never been done before, right? Like no one's
Yeah, that's true.
been able to push this. So like maybe they tailor the way they're doing this specifically to this whole movement is like should they maybe they release it as 4 episodes but they do all four at once. You know what I mean? Like it just depends on how it gets packaged.
Right.
Um, and that's the hardest part to speculate on, and we could go on for days and days. But I think in the immediate future, I think there's a few possibilities. Number one, September 12th on the now official second part of Fandome, they might release a little more. I don't look forward to that as much as I see that more as like an air cut day, which they may even announce the air cut before that and then announce that they're going to have an air panel, kind of like they did with Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, they or they do like a holiday type of trailer where they release it around Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I feel like those are the big ideas. I have a hard time seeing Zach sitting back till at least January 1st and not giving us anything more.
Okay.
But that's my thought. I mean, it could go either way. Shit. I mean, he could drop some more new shit tomorrow. He could just keep dropping new photos.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it'll just be up in the air at
But
this point.
either way, times we're in are amazing.
Yeah, and I wonder what will come of it because, I personally, it's one of those weird things. It's like if you had asked me before this, all right, you can have the Snyder Cut. It's going to be 4 hours long. You're going to get everything you wanted. However, nothing's coming from that. You are not going to get a continuation of necessarily the Snyderverse in the way that you want, and for you and I personally, a Ben Affleck spin-off into maybe a six episode thing on HBO Max or something like that. They just are going to one-off Ben Affleck after this, put him in the Flashpoint for a little quirky send-off. Maybe he gets 10 minutes of screen time. I would have been torn to say yes to that.
Yeah.
However, we are getting at least something we want. So you gotta just take what you can get, and if it ends up being his last time in the role, you know, except for whatever he's gonna end up doing in Flashpoint, then I think it's worth it now.
I think I'm an optimist, especially in this scenario, and the fact that he's already agreed to come back for the Flash movie after he was done is a amazing sign. The fact that the director's wife, who's a producer, I think it's Barbara Muschetti, said that he was actually even surprisingly excited to come back to the role and not just like oh no, I don't want to do this, but like
Well,
actually
they sent
like
him the script, and he like got to make some changes to it,
he got
and the
notes
director
and they
was
were
like, "All
taken.
right,
Yeah,
right," and
and
that makes it different.
it does, and that that's probably been seeing if he could trust the director to listen to him because obviously that was a huge thing for Justice League. Is like he was just in a bad spot. And now he's like in this amazing point in his life. Zach has probably expressed to Andy Muschietti, the director, like this let them be the actor. Let them this, and that's one thing Andy said he respected is that like Ben's won an Oscar for Argo, something he directed, even though he acted in it as well. So Ben is obviously smart and has knowledge on both sides of the camera, and if he'd be basically stupid not to listen to anything he had to say.
Yeah, and I also think that, Zach said that it was 2016 when he was on set filming, and the movie got released in 2017. So it's been 3 to 4 years, and I'm going to say stability in Affleck's life has completely changed from then to now. All the memes we saw of him being downer Batman because of all the bad reviews, he's now had a chance to, if he's engaged at all on Twitter and everything else, seen how popular his ranking is after everyone got to see the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman. I don't
Yeah,
know a lot of people. Nobody puts him at the bottom. That's reserved for the Clooneys, the Kilmers, if you want to argue, Adam West, if you want to argue. But people put him near the top along with Bale, and a lot of people say he's better than Keaton.
yeah,
So a lot of people liked how he was portrayed, and so maybe that's changed his mind. He's got a real fan or cult following for his version of it,
yeah.
and so things are different. Maybe he does want to do a series.
And I think
However they're
when
going to end up taking him in Flashpoint, I think that if they introduced like, hey, we're going to put you in a series to explore, maybe Batman fighting a villain that, like Deathstroke.
yeah,
Uh, because of his age, you really can't say, okay, well, this actually takes 10 years previous to,
right, right.
the event. So you kind of limit it in that way. So you definitely don't want to write him out as a character in Flashpoint.
You're
But that's what I'm speculating on.
you can and you can't because I will say to Marvel's credit, they got de aging down to a perfection in Captain Marvel. Uh, and I'm not saying they should do that to Ben, but like if they needed to do something, they could probably make the tweaks they needed. But I think people, I, my grand scheme of what I think is going to happen now is I think Aircut's going to get announced. It'll get released. People are going to fawn over Jared Leto's performance because they'll get to see the thing in its entirety. They'll get to fawn even more over Affleck in the Snyder Cut because they'll get to see Zach's Batman again, not fucking Josh Whedon's, fucked up version.
Yep.
And get to see this guy who's wanted to play Batman all his life get to play Batman the way he wanted to and more. And people are just going to be like, it has to happen. And I think you'll see, I think the social media talk after Snyder Cut will kind of go into Justice League 2, please, or Batman Joker now. Like, and
Yeah, I mean,
HBO has proved that they're listening 100%.
right. Yeah, I think that if, you know, it's not normal. We can't just gauge it off box office money, but if they jump a fucking million subscribers, like, that's money.
Yeah.
500,000 subscribers, whatever it ends up being, like, that's gonna. They know just from Fandome. I don't know how many people actually have HBO Max versus who logged into Fandome, but I would say every single person who logged into Fandome is going to get HBO Max for at least the time that they show that.
Yeah.
Every
And
single one.
and the people that are outside the country, I just saw today, like HBO Go is going to have it in Asia. So like and they, Zach even said they're going to put it out. They're getting a distribution deal to get it to worldwide because HBO Max is not everywhere yet. So like,
Right.
number one, they're going to build their business. Number two, they're going to get more subscribers. But number three, they're going to get even more people talking about it once it's released. I mean, it's going to be the most talked about movie up until the Batman actually comes out.
Right.
And any press is good press, as the saying goes.
Yep. I agree. As far as moving forward into the Flash movie, we're gonna. It's been rumored that Keaton is going to play a much larger role, sort of a mentor type scenario. If that's the case, that tells me Affleck will be out moving forward because you don't need two mentors, especially if they're going to end up in the same universe.
Right.
Maybe Ben get Alfred always wanted him to find somebody, and this iteration of Batfleck hasn't really found anybody, and he is very seasoned and old. Whereas in the Keaton Batmans, we see multiple love interests. Maybe he ends up with Michelle Pfeiffer. Maybe not. Maybe that doesn't work out. But maybe he is just stuck into the older mentor type Batman that we see in the Batman Beyond type series. So
I
I
think
would say if that's
there's
the role he's going to take, Affleck would be out.
I so as far as what I think is for the Flash, uh, I they had Keaton in talks and had a deal in place for the Flash, not multiple movies,
Right.
just the Flash, and they showed that concept art in the Flash panel. And then the week before, after everything had been recorded, they got Ben on after Ben made notes to the script. Part of Ben's
Right.
notes is that maybe he wants to come back as Batman and maybe he should be the mentor and maybe Keaton's a cameo, which would make a little more sense because then you're not having to run this old rugged Batman through Justice League type scenarios and you get to keep the original Batman you had for Justice League in the first place for the team up movies. I
Well, I
think
don't even know. Yeah, but I don't even see. So if they portray Keaton as not just I'm not sure how old he is as an actor, but they could literally portray him as somebody who is 20 years older than Affleck.
right.
Give him, and so he really isn't doing any fighting anymore, and so he really actually is a mentor to maybe a Batman Beyond character. Whereas if it's Ben moving forward, he's still fighting, and he's still going to
Right.
have the urge to fight until his body dies.
So
So
one of the things I read over the week is that part of Ben coming back, he was gonna be Bruce Wayne, but he would suit up as Batman,
right.
and he would be a mentor to. Like it was specifically said by Umberto's site. I don't remember if it's him specifically or not. Uh, saying that Ben would take on the mentor role for Barry. For Barry, not for the Justice League. I should say that too. But I think when you get the original actor back into place in the first place, that's a green light. When you start putting out that he's going to be the one mentoring Barry instead of Keaton, that gives a little bit more of a green light. And then you hear how excited Ben is about coming back from the director's wife. Uh, I think the situation is probably fluid at best, and things can change if they haven't
Oh, yeah,
already.
I agree with that for
And
sure. I
I
agree with that.
I think Michael Keaton, I think he's still got a future at Disney, or at least at Sony as Vulture, part of Sinister Six. Whenever that happens, I mean, he's in Morbius. He's not going away. So
Yep,
I
I
think a
agree.
lot of things are not set, even though a lot of people thought they were. And then Ben Affleck, the one guy we all wanted to come back in the first place, comes back. That changes everything because now you
Well, and
can.
a lot of people that may have been out have come back because I think everyone has a cohesive plan and good fucking scripts, quite honestly.
Yes, yes,
Like that will bring Leto back. You have a better script. You give him justice with a new Ayer cut, and then you give him a good fucking script. Like that'll bring him back.
yep.
So
I
now I don't necessarily think you could have given Keaton any role and he was dying to be Batman again. Just watch
yes,
any interview he's on, he always
yeah,
ends it with Batman. So I'm not putting too much into that, but I know it's a good script if you can get Affleck to come back even for some of it
yeah.
because he was out.
That's true.
So yeah, I just
I think so much is going to change after Snyder Cut comes out that
yeah.
hasn't already changed already. I think that, and I think again HBO and Warner Media, not Warner Brothers, but Warner Media, who owns HBO Max, they know exactly what they're doing, and I mean, everything they're doing, they're winning. You know what I mean? Like they're hitting they're hitting all the right buttons, and
Yeah.
I think the possibilities truly are now endless. And speaking
Yeah,
of
it's
endless
all
opportunities,
it's all going to hinge on obviously how the Snyder Cut goes, but we've talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it going any direction but good.
Yeah,
Um,
I do wanna briefly bring up. Um, I know that you and I have enjoyed playing the Arkham series.
yes.
That's been, I think, exclusive. Maybe it's exclusive to PS4, isn't it? Or did it
The
start out on
no,
PS3?
because you could play it on Xbox.
Oh, could you? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, when Arkham Asylum came out, I was like, holy shit, we have a game where it's as interactive a fighting game as I'd played.
right.
Um, Obviously, things got better with Arkham City, and then by the time Arkham Knight came out, I was like, this is like the greatest game short of God of War that I've ever played.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw that Rocksteady was, a little bit tired of doing their Batman story. They kind of wrapped up
Mm-hmm.
Arkham Knight in a way that kind of ended it in that
Mm-hmm.
way. I read that they had pitched a Superman video game, but they were told no, and so they switched over to Suicide Squad. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on what you thought of the kind of real life trailer that we got that doesn't show any gameplay um, of just that video game coming out.
Uh, I think it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm gonna buy it. Uh,
Yep.
they confirmed that it's in the Arkham universe. And it's after the events of Arkham Knight. Uh, I think the graphics, I think that entire trailer looks better than all of the Avengers game that came out.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, it's just worlds apart.
Yep.
I think the characters look super fun to play. Uh, I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy a PS5 for this and the other game we're gonna talk about. But like,
Well, there's rumor because of the detailed graphics that no longer games are going to creep up to like 69.99, 79.99. It's still worth it to you at that?
yeah, I mean, I play like
100%.
me personally, I play like 4 games on my system anyway. So
Right,
like,
right.
I mean,
Yep.
I'll spend however much on a PS5 and play Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, and uh, Miles Morales, Spider Man or whatever, and
Yep.
the couple skateboarding games I have, and I'm good. It's all worth it. You know.
Yeah, no longer are the days where you get like your N64 and you've got 40 games,
Right. I
you know?
don't have time
Yeah,
for that at my age.
exactly. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I liked it immediately. You knew it was the Arkham franchise's Harley.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they made King Shark. I like seeing all those characters, and I'm interested to play. That's one of the things that they sort of introduced in Arkham Knight with the DLC downloads that they did. You got to actually fight as Nightwing and
Right.
Batgirl, and you actually got to do side missions, which was pretty cool. But it still was the main feature was Batman. So I
Right.
would I would like to think if this takes place after Arkham Knight that there will get to see a new Batman somehow, because
Right.
we know that he's probably gone or missing or had a plan devised so Brainiac wouldn't brainwash him, but it will be interesting to see just how fucking strong Superman is fighting the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. And I am, at the end of Arkham Knight, Batman's in his Batman Beyond suit. So do they? I have to imagine Rocksteady is hella smart that way, to where if we see Batman, it's gonna come through that type of way.
Yeah, because they've teased the Batman Beyond suit as just extra skins you could download, and
Mm-hmm.
we've seen them
Mm-hmm.
all the way through. I don't remember seeing it in Arkham Asylum, but for sure there was a real old school one in Arkham City, and then we got to
Yeah.
see the real modern one in Arkham Knight. So yeah, they've got to be teasing something.
Yeah. And
So
then
speaking of the other Gotham Knights game, what did you think of that trailer?
that thing looked badass. Uh,
Did
I
man.
I think all the characters look awesome, but man, Mr. Freeze looked fucking cool as hell too.
Have they learned
Um,
their lesson from the glitches of Batman Origins?
they better. I mean,
That should be the first fucking thing they try to work out, man, because holy shit,
that was.
that game was buggy.
I mean, that's how bad it was. You can still talk about it to this day. Um,
And it's the one separate because the storyline of that game and how it looked was
yeah,
good.
yeah, and
It just was the gameplay. I was like, what
technical
is happening?
issues messed it up. And
Yep.
I feel like if anything, if they've got that under control, they're golden because the game looks
So
badass.
if there is no Batman reveal in that game, Batman's not there. is it a continuation within their little world that they started? Or are they starting something new moving forward because we know the Court of Owls are going to be the villains? How do you think that plays out if this game has no Batman in it? Do you still like it? Would you rather play the Suicide Squad more?
No, because what I'll probably do is just play. Uh, I mean, the thing with Suicide Squad is you can play with any character at any time. That's what they were
Right.
saying during the panel. You don't have to earn the other one, or they're all available.
Which is
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, which is
Awesome.
great, and you can
They'll
switch them at any
probably
time
make
too.
it to where who you're fighting, you need to smartly select who you got.
Yes, I
You
agree.
know. So yeah.
But I think, I don't know how Gotham Knights is going to do it, but I think it'll be enjoyable enough with all the sides of Batman in these characters. Like you have Nightwing, who's like inherently the better version of a Bruce Wayne or a
Right.
Batman, and then you've got the darker side of him in Jason Todd, and then you've got the I don't want to say feminine perspective just because she's Batgirl, but I mean that's kind of where it comes from. Is like you've got this you've got like I don't even know how to say it. I mean you've got someone like Barbara,
And it's
who's
pre-Killing Joke, Barbara.
right, right,
So it
exactly.
does kind of put a time frame on that. That's what tipped me off to where it's absolutely not in the Arkham universe. Because how it started, it kind of made it seem like it was a continuation because of the explosion. Bruce Wayne's dead. That's kind of how Arkham Knight ended. But as soon as I saw her suiting up and the picture of her younger with Jim, knowing that Jim is dead, I knew it had to be pre-Killing Joke.
Yes, exactly. Um, I you know
I'll be
I
disappointed if there's no Batman. I'll be honest.
yeah.
It's not a game that I'll play multiple times through, unless they obviously release some DLC that I want. But yeah, if there's no Batman, I I don't know.
I mean I'll get over it. I'm already gonna own the game.
It, is that Bruce Wayne's son that's playing Robin, or is it Tim Drake?
No, I'm pretty sure that's Damien. It looked like it. It looked like it
Think
was a
it's Damien?
Damien. I think so.
Well, I couldn't tell if Batman just on purpose gave that general, seemingly heartfelt message to individuals, but it was given to all four of them,
hmm
or if he would have added something particular for his son.
Yeah, I'm not too sure because his son was uh what's it called? He didn't know about his son forever. You know what I mean? It's not like he was there from
Yeah,
day one when I was born.
and there was the animated movie where Batman fought alongside with Damian in the Robin costume
Right,
against the Court of Owls. So
right.
I don't
I
know, it's gonna be pretty cool, and I hope that just means if it's its own universe, Joker's in it.
yeah,
So we're going to
that's
see more
that's very
villains than
true.
just, yeah,
Unless Batman killed him, or he died
that's
too at
true.
some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they made it very intriguing. I mean, I'm super into it, and the graphic and the gameplay look stunning.
So are you pre-ordering those games to get potential DLC?
I don't think so. I
Yeah, me either.
uh, I've never been one to pre-order games in general. I
Yeah.
love I love the video games, but I'm not like, oh my god, I have to get this so soon.
Well,
I'd
and
rather get
yeah,
the whole thing on day one.
these won't be games that are sold out and you can't find them. It's not the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
you can find it at GameStop the next day.
Yeah, 100%. And they're downloadable. I mean, you can download the shit.
So I wanted to try to find a way to transition by using the word Twilight, but I couldn't work it in.
There's no need
But I'd
for it.
like to get to the Batman.
In the twilight of the Snyder Cut, we also uh, I what do you even say?
Were you blown away? If you
Yes,
had to go 1 to 10, what were you expecting? I was expecting a 6 to 7.
yeah,
He
I'd
said
say
he only
six to
had a
seven
quarter of a
too.
shot.
I'd say 6 to 7, and I got a fucking 20.
40,
I mean,
100 million.
yeah, I mean it was so much more than I was expecting.
Dude, dark
Pattinson,
as fuck.
bro, so dark. Pattinson is, I mean, he's exactly what everyone's been saying. He's Bruce Wayne. He's Batman. Like it's right there in front of you.
He looked good, man. Like, even, at the funeral of the mayor,
Yeah,
he looked like a fucking young Bruce Wayne. I like this because, the Christian Bale version that we get in Batman Begins is a very lost individual. You know, obviously we see a very origin story for him. This is a Bruce Wayne that's still very, very young, which makes me pumped because he can fucking play this character for 10 years.
Yes.
But he's trying to find his way. He's clearly been doing it a certain way where he's beating the shit out of people whenever he fights them. Dude, that
Yeah.
already is the second best Batman fight scene I've ever seen.
I,
That
I,
already,
I would
already.
100% agree. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, okay, well, Matt Reeves knew the exact bar he had to hit just to hit
Yeah.
the standard and just jumped on top of it.
Yeah, man, because go back and watch the Bale and Bane scene, and it's not that.
It's
There's
sad.
some stunt coordination there, but I mean, goddamn, I think once John Wick came out and you realize what you could actually fucking do with somebody who you bring in somebody that can fucking choreograph fights,
Shit, not
like
even
that are
John Wick,
really
but
top notch.
Deadpool. I mean, just
Yes, man,
those
100%.
two movies that close together. I mean, it just kind of blew a hole in the Dark Knight fighting. But
Yeah, and to see the fear on the rest of the gang's face, because this isn't like a, oh, Batman comes in the night, he rounds up criminals. This is like a, this is how I have to treat villains, Batman.
yeah,
And
and
I'm
this
gonna
dude,
break
this
their
dude
fucking jaw.
approached them. He didn't hide and come from out of the shadows and grab one and then run. You know what I mean? He just walked
Yeah,
up to all of them.
dude, this is the Arkham Knight
Yeah,
video game Batman, where it's like the ending punch after he interrogates someone, you're like, oh, well, his fucking jaw is broken.
yeah, for sure.
That this is him. But I would like to get into what, you know, the fight scene kind of overshadowed things, but I will say I did not realize that was Colin Farrell when I first saw him as
Nope,
Penguin.
I didn't
And
either,
seeing the Riddler in that way, Paul Dano is a really good actor to me anyway.
bro. Oscar.
There will be blood is fucking amazing to me as a movie. But
I I bet this is the first comic book movie that gets two Oscars to two actors, if not more.
nominees, hopefully. Yeah,
I
maybe three
nominees for
nominees,
sure,
man.
but Paul Dano. I mean, I can smell it from a mile away already.
We're gonna get an awesome Jim Gordon, a
Yep,
fucking awesome Alfred. Like
yep,
these are big time actors, man. And seeing
yep,
Paul Dano basically show us a Riddler that is in a not a hazmat suit, but basically, and has duct taped his entire body
yep,
so that he doesn't leave any DNA.
yep,
That is such a like, oh well, shit, yeah, the Riddler would do that.
yeah,
And to see the Riddler essentially become a foe that is so formidable, like the Arkham video games, where you have to go around and find all the Riddler clues. If you have that time, I never had that time to do that. But
no,
it's formidable, man. It's not just, you know, all due respect to Jim Carrey, laughing and joking, but that was the tone of that movie.
right,
But
yeah.
to see him as an actual gravitas made me excited to eventually see a Joker in this Pattinson
Yes.
Batman world. Because
Listen, if the
man,
Riddler
like
is
if
killing people like this, imagine what the Joker's doing.
yeah, and just to and for Matt Reeves to come out during Fandome and I mean, I could have just listened to him talk about Batman for another hour. He was so engaged with the character. You could tell he really loved the character. Um, uh, man, I am equally or more excited to see this movie than I actually am the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's what was so interesting about the trailers, because the Snyder Cut is something we've been waiting on, and then we got what we were hoping for and more. Is like it was like Christmas Day opening up that one present you're hoping to get, right? And then there's this other present that you don't know what the hell it is. You weren't even expecting it, really. Maybe
Yep.
like some socks or some underwear, but this thing, it's wrapped well. It looks cool, and fuck, if the person who bought this for you didn't know who you were, you know what I mean? Like, Matt, I had this thought after watching it. I think the Batman trilogy for Matt Reeves is going to be his opus. I think he made all these cool movies like Cloverfield and the Planet of the Apes movies were good, but it's something like Zach, where Zach got to mess with Superman and mess with his favorite character, one of his favorite characters, and now Matt Reeves gets to do what he wants with his favorite comic book character in the way he wants to. And he's got all these kind of cool movies under his belt, and now he gets to do this.
Well, he
Uh,
needed to make those movies
right,
because
exactly,
had
exactly.
he not, maybe Andy Serkis doesn't get called
Right,
up to go play Alfred. So
right.
yeah, it all matters, and so you're right. I mean, this dude loves the character, and just seeing the suit for the first time without the red glare or people
Mm-hmm.
going back and fixing it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a it's what you would expect a year two Batman to have. It's not an armored tank or a
Yep.
seasoned suit. We see
Mm-hmm.
later in the trailer he gets shot in the chest. It probably does a little more damage to him than he wanted,
Right.
so he's got to go tinker and make things different. And I thought it was an awesome suit.
I thought it was too. Um, I One thing I found real intriguing is the first shot of him when it shows his boots walking up and how short his cape is compared to his boots.
Yeah,
Uh, this is kind of a weird detail, but if you look at most Batmans, a lot of the and even Superman, like all their capes, pretty much damn near hit the floor, like a well cut dress would on a lady. Like like
right.
it's not dragging really, but it's right there. And it can move and sway, and it's still going to be right there when it drops. Well, this one, as you're saying, is year two Batman. This is an evolving suit. That cape is like the height of like crew socks. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
comes up off the
Yep.
floor a bit. So I mentioned that was just such an interesting detail, and to see him wearing like basically combat black boots with covers over the laces is it's like raw as fuck, right? Uh,
Yeah, and I hope they make it functional because we get to see the functionality of other capes and other Batman. And I'm sure that he'll eventually, maybe not in this movie, but get it to that point.
right. I agree. Again that's the perfect way to introduce him as far as his fighting, like just taking out one dude quick. I saw a tweet. Someone counted it. He hit that guy 13 times.
Golly, man.
In that
Yeah,
like 2 to 3 seconds. Um,
yeah.
Again, it's a movie. It's action, but like that is choreography at its best.
Did
Um,
they kind of remind you of the gang from Batman Forever?
God, Colin, and that's what I'm talking about. As far as there's a very, 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 very good chance each of these characters gets nominated for Oscars, whether it's Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress. I mean, Zoe Kravitz didn't get to see much of her, but she's well on that plateau.
Well, and
Uh,
she's not Catwoman yet, apparently,
right.
to Matt Reeves. She's still Selena Kyle, and as well as Oswald Cobblepot. He doesn't like being called the Penguin, apparently.
Right. Which
I
I
did watch an
love.
interview with, yeah, I did watch an interview with Colin Farrell. Um, and see, that was my issue with Gotham, the TV series. It was like, yeah, there's no Batman yet, and he's like 13, but we've
Mm-hmm.
got all our villain names ready.
Right.
So yeah, I like how they're doing it this way. But I did see a Colin Farrell interview, I think with Kimmel maybe,
Mm-hmm.
where he said it was like 7 months ago, where he was talking about getting to filming, and he had read the whole script, and he was like, he could not praise it more. He said it was smart, one of the better scripts he's read. It was dark, it was clever, and so for him to say that, who's been in a lot of good movies, man, like
Yeah. And he's
I
been
can't get
around.
over though how dark and seemingly well thought out Riddler is going to be
Oh, I know.
because he clearly has a plan for Batman. He already fucking knows who Batman's identity is.
Yeah.
Um, did you see people decode the sort of zodiac glyphs that are in that card?
Yes.
Okay.
The card said, what does a liar do when he dies? And the symbols basically point out the answer, or whatever. I think, and it says he lies still.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's very clever. It's
yeah.
not the, you know, I'm
It was
trying to
black and
remember
white and red
the
all over. Your dead body. you know,
Yeah.
this is like some real mental shit.
Yeah. I do like the sort of voiceover he does in the background, and I like that his voice is different because
Yeah.
obviously you're like, oh, I know that person's voice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he said something to the effect of like, if you're justice, then please
Why?
don't lie.
Yeah.
Uh,
What is the price
what
for
is the
your blind
price?
eye?
Right, and that fucking points out to me that Batman is so concerned with fighting crime at night, like he's ignoring what higher up people are doing during the day and fucking robbing people.
Yeah.
You know, like a more industry type. Uh, I think it's going to go to Court of Owls, which apparently is a very popular right now topic. Video
I
game we
mean,
just discussed.
it kind of all points there, right? It feels like it's the age of the owls right now because
Right.
Gotham Knights is got the Court of Owls, and then in the movie trailer itself, the card has an owl in the front. Uh, the
Yeah, and,
got
and what I'm going to speculate on is that the Riddler thinks Thomas and Martha are part of this sort of crime syndicate
hmm
that ran Gotham for really generation, a millennia in fucking comics. It seemed like they went back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
yeah,
Um, but I think that he's going to have to try to work to clear that because at this point, if that's Riddler's goal, he's going to be a sort of anti-hero.
right.
So clearly he has to be wrong about something in order to be a full-fledged hero that Batman has to take serious.
He's an anti-hero, but he's also like murdering people, and
Right,
he's
but if
doing
his
it kind
goal
of
is to
crook.
get rid of if his goal is to get rid of the Court of Owls, then people may look at that as justified. But if his
Right.
goal is to tarnish Thomas and Martha's legacy within the city to further damage the city, then he would be looked at more of a villain, which I think is the route you gotta go. Otherwise, I don't know too many anti-heroes within the Batman mythology.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. Is Azrael considered that?
I don't know. You know, he was kind of portrayed in the last Arkham game as like you could make the choice for him.
hmm
Remember, it was like choose the good path or choose the bad path, and if you chose the bad path, Batman captures you. If you
Yeah,
chose a good path, nothing happened. He's just like, I'll continue to help you.
yeah. I feel like
So
the
I don't know
only
how they'll portray him.
I feel like the anti-hero that I can think of in Batman is just Catwoman, because she's never really
Oh,
a good
that's
guy,
a good one.
and she's not really a bad guy, but she does rob people.
Yeah, but at least he's not murdering.
Right. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm really pumped for the movie. I think going into Fandom, if I would have said, "Hey, you can only see one movie, either Snyder Cut or the Batman," I would have said Snyder Cut.
yeah,
And now it's way more of a toss-up.
yeah. I man, I mean I definitely think about the Batman trailer more than I think about Snyder Cut, and
I've watched it more, but I think it's because it's shorter too.
I've watched it more too, but I try to be nice and watch them equally. Like when I watch one, watch the other. Uh,
You
but
get a chance to go onto YouTube, go follow, subscribe to an account called Mixed Reactions.
okay,
And what he does is people have found an interesting way to make money on YouTube, but they basically will post their fan sites video reaction to watching a trailer in live time. Well, what this guy has done has put a compilation video of people reacting just to the clip of Batman like pulverizing that guy in the park, and it shows everyone's reactions. It's awesome. The guy does it
wow,
for a lot of movies, Avengers
damn.
stuff and all that, but he does it for Batman, and I think he's doing one for Snyder Cut. So get a chance to watch that. It's pretty fun.
I'm gonna go check that out soon. I mean,
Yeah,
as soon as
it's
we get
pretty
done here,
fun.
I'm gonna go watch both trailers again anyway.
Yeah.
I think about that. Uh, I don't know if I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm gonna screw it up. Michael Giannicchio or the
Oh,
composer,
Giancarlo.
something like that.
The
I don't know how it's spelled, and I'm probably gonna butcher it. But I
the guy that's playing Falcone.
no, the composer, the music composer.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino, or again, I'm gonna say it so badly, but I don't know if he was the one who overlaid his idea of the theme over that Nirvana song. But I mean, what a perfect. By the way, for those of you who didn't watch Fandome, Matt Reeves stated he's only shot 25% of the movie, and he created this trailer from that, which is fucking crazy and incredible because it's a perfect trailer. I mean, it nails everything you want in the first impression.
Right.
And I
It's
don't
a
know if,
dark song.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, it's nice that they pick a trailer like that. And and sort of how they did with the Snyder Cut, where the song you chose is fuck yeah,
Purposeful.
hallelujah for everyone. We got what we wanted. Here's something we're gonna get, basically the fans of they want. And
Yeah.
for him, what is it something in the way or in the way?
Something in the
The
way.
Nirvana song. Yeah, I mean that's pretty spot on to what we saw in the trailer. Like
Yeah.
something is in the way now of Batman just being able to freely work at night, not have to have the spotlight directly on him, but he's about to.
Yeah. And I
So
think,
perfect choice.
but again, if it's the composer, if he's the one who, which I'm guessing he has overlaid his idea of the Batman theme over that song and did that whole mix. I mean,
Well, I will say Matt
it was
Reeves said
incredible.
that it was not a cover.
Yes, it's not a cover, but
Right.
what I think happened is he overlaid them. Like
Yeah.
he melded them together. So he put that Nirvana song into his uh to his Batman theme. Uh
Yeah.
or vice versa. And it just the overlay of one on top of the other is just incredible.
Awesome, man. Like, God, people are talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, I've thought about it so much every day, and it just how good it is.
And it's sort of like I kind of compare it to sports, where like if you kind of look at sports through like from the '60s and professional sports moving forward, your athletes are just bigger, stronger, faster. And I think
Right.
it can be the same for acting, composers, whoever. I think we're in an age where there are a lot of good fucking actors, man.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about the Batman, etc. But to get to see the full performances again in the Snyder Cut, like Ray Fisher is going to come out of it with many more roles. Because think about what he's done since then. Not
Right.
much.
Right.
He's like the
True
one actor
Detective
that
season
hasn't had
3.
really anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm.
I'm pumped to see it. We're in a golden age of obviously comic book movies since
Yeah.
basically about 2008,
Yeah.
2000 and yeah, maybe 2005 if you want to count Batman Begins. But
I
yeah,
think I said I think this is like Matt Reeves' opus. I to put that in better perspective, I think it's gonna be. I think the Batman for Matt Reeves is gonna be what Breaking Bad was for Vince Gilligan. Uh, that it's the nail on the head thing where everything just clicks perfectly.
yeah,
And I can't fucking wait.
yeah, man. That's the movie that I do want to see three trailers of, and because it's a different situation than the Snyder
Yep.
Cut.
I mean,
I
imagine what's about to get
definitely.
filmed.
Oh, dude, yeah. We're assuming that I saw where they were supposed to start beginning of September again, in England or wherever they're at. I think England. So that to me would tell me that they film for the next 3 months if they can. Maybe it changes the story a little bit if they're out. I don't. Did they say they built a complete indoor facility for them for this movie?
Yes, they went
I
to
think that's
all
what I saw.
studio stuff.
Okay, so they don't have to necessarily worry about weather. It'd be cool if we saw snow, but um,
I
yeah.
think they're still going to be able to utilize other places. I think it just depends. They just have to be more precise on when where they
Well,
want
they
to do
definitely
it.
won't be going to South Africa
Right.
or Colombia because of just the travel with COVID.
Right.
So I think so. Where are you putting timetable for trailers for that?
For the Batman,
Yeah,
I think second trailer probably February.
I
And
want to
then
say for sure I saw that it was going to be fall of 2021.
the
I think I
next
saw that
the
today.
the
No,
next
no, no,
trailer.
just the movie to be released.
I'm sorry. No, yeah.
Yeah, so if that's the
I think
case,
the
it
movie
could
is going
be
to be October.
okay. Then yeah, it would be like a late January, February, and then a late June, July,
Yeah.
maybe July, August, really.
Yep. I
Yeah,
think October of next year is going to be a fucking badass month for movies because I think we're going to
I
get.
know.
Uh, I could be wrong about this one, so I better look it up. Um, I think Venom or Morbius is going to be in October. Uh, Halloween Kills is going to be in October, and I feel like Batman's going to be in October. I feel like it's all, especially if Batman's loosely based on any of the Long Halloween. I mean,
Dude,
I
wouldn't that be
can't
an
think of a,
awesome
yeah,
fucking...
I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see what day Halloween is on in 2021.
So
What is Halloween?
there's no set
The
day for Venom 2 right now. It's still saying June 25th of this year.
Okay.
Oh no, it said
Yeah,
June
and all
25th
of it,
of
like
next year.
how much have they shot?
Of what, Batman or
No,
Venom?
Venom
They're done.
or oh, are they done? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. Venom was supposed to come out of October this year, but now it's coming out in June of next year. And then Morbius is coming out. Uh, Morbius movie. Um, oh yeah, it's coming out on March 19th. So I guess for some reason I thought they were both going to be in October. So that's my fault. Uh, but I feel like Batman will for sure be a Halloween type movie
Yeah, Halloween 2021 is on the 31st, which is a Sunday, so they could technically do like
on
a
like the
Wednesday the
29th.
27th.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
20.
you know
Yeah,
how some of the big blockbusters are like Wednesday, Thursday, but yeah, if they did a Thursday late night showings on the 28th,
yeah,
then
I'm there.
that would be that'd be great.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's so ready for it.
Yeah, man, it's hard to think. The last 6 months have seemed the longest in my life, let alone thinking, oh, we got a whole year to wait on this.
Yeah, no shit, right? Ugh. But you know what? Hopefully everything will get set right, and we'll be back in there in no time.
Do you think we'll see a tease for the Joker at the end of this movie?
I think we may see it in the middle. I think I read or heard somewhere that Joker's basically in Arkham, and
Okay.
when Batman's going to visit someone in Arkham, uh, you basically pass by this Joker's cell. I don't know how much truth there is to that. Again, they've only shot
Yeah, like a
25% of the
figure
movie.
sitting in the shadows would be in a cell would be a nice
Yeah,
thing or something like that.
and I
Could you imagine everyone just absolutely losing their shit if Joker is in Arkham and they reveal Joaquin Phoenix?
I think everyone would lose their shit, but from the way it sounded at the panels, it sounded like Joker was in its own world, just like Batman was.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well, do we
necessarily
get an
see that
Elseworld
happening.
Batman then?
Maybe, maybe that would be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be
I don't
pretty
know what
cool.
that would look like, but I think they may reserve Elseworld movies right now for more bad guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd like to see a Black Mask Elseworld movie, something like
That would
that.
be crazy. I I I think the real kind of popular idea right now, maybe, or at least somewhat popular idea, is getting Willem Dafoe as the Joker, just because him and Pattinson were in Lighthouse and their chemistry. It was an odd, weird, fucked up movie, but like them together as actors, their chemistry seemed right for those roles, even though it was a fucking weird ass movie.
Well,
Uh,
what would you do with him in the movie?
in the Batman,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that would be a great place to have the Killing Joke kind of talk, where maybe he meets and talks to him. Maybe Joker knows
it,
something.
yeah, it makes sense to me that I like what they're doing as far as obviously they've aged up. You know, Colin Farrell is older than Robert Pattinson, so it's not like they're picking all Robert Pattinson age people.
Right, right. And I feel like
But
Joker's
so
going to
you
be
don't have to
older.
necessarily, yeah, you don't have to have a Joker that's his age, but you would like a Joker that has more staying power than what we saw with Leto. Then obviously tragedy with Heath Ledger, and I don't know if they're giving Joaquin another movie or not. We need to see multiple movies with Joker multiple times.
Yeah,
So maybe that does lend you to cast a maybe younger 40, late 30 actor.
yeah, possibly. I
Yeah.
really don't know. It could go either way. But with the way Matt Reeves is casted so far, I feel like Willem Dafoe would also fit that type of casting, because he's not going to just go get a big well-known name. He's going to get someone who can be a character.
Right, and I think if people said William Dafoe joins the Batman cast, they'll be like,
Everyone's
oh,
be
it's
like,
Joker.
oh well, there's Joker. There you go.
There's Joker, and then
Yeah,
maybe disappointed if he's not.
yeah. I mean, I don't know
Okay.
anyone else he could be because I think he after, especially after him playing Green Goblin, uh, Papa Bear, and Spider Man. Like
Yep.
we know he can play a bad guy. We know he can play a crazy bad guy. But I don't know if we need to see him play like some sort of other older figure. I think you put him in there as exactly what you're expecting.
Well, and that goes to my point about how good actors are now. Like, he aside, you can fit anybody into any role, and if they're a good actor, they can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. I also think it's a blessing that Jonah Hill did not end up as the Penguin. I think Colin Farrell's about to pull a fucking rug out from everybody.
well, what's interesting is that Jonah Hill would have done the movie, but he wanted to be Riddler.
Oh, I
So
thought it
it
was a
really
money thing. I thought he was wanting 10 million.
that could have been part of it, but I know that he absolutely didn't want to be Penguin. And I think it was because he's been typecast as either fat or skinny. He wanted to do more
That's
skinny
true.
roles.
That makes sense.
So, and also I believe the Riddler is the main fucking villain, and maybe that's why he wanted 10 million because
That's true.
he's the main villain.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's the case, and Colin Farrell will have a good role, but he's not the main villain.
Right.
So yeah,
But he can be later too at the same time.
right. It'll be interesting to see how they do the crossover that, we're expected to see Birds of Prey introduce some new villains into that version
Yeah.
of the universe. I wonder what Matt Reeves will tackle and stay away of in case they overlap movies.
Yeah, I'm interested about that too because especially going the
He,
Court of
he, he
Owl's
won't put a
way, that
Harley
would be.
Quinn.
What's that?
He's not going to cast a Harley Quinn.
No, no. And if he does, it's not going to
Right.
be right now, and it's going to be
That,
drastically different from Margot Robbie.
yeah, I completely agree.
But I think that's probably out of the cards. I think he's going to continue to focus on either a villains that were slightly showcased in older movies that haven't really seen, like Penguin and Riddler, because Two Face and Joker were done, you know,
Yeah.
already multiple times. So if anything, I think we
But I
see
think we will
more.
get introduced to a Two-Face
Yes,
because if
I
this
do also,
mayor dies, yeah, 100%.
and
Yeah,
I
I think he tackles people we haven't seen, like Hush.
yeah,
Maybe that's a storyline somewhere. Court of
and he does
Owls
it.
would be perfect.
He's doing it from different perspectives too. Like I'm
Right.
almost dead certain that he's already said that like Riddler's name isn't going to be Edward Enigma. It's going to be Edward something else, but it's not going to be like Enigma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Nash or something like Nashton
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
And then
Yeah.
like what's his name? Peter Skarsgård. Uh,
Yeah.
if he's Two Face, I'm all for it because that dude he can play a crazy motherfucker.
Was he cast in the Batman?
Yes, he's apparently a DA, but he's not playing Harvey Dent in quotes. But again, that could be part of
Okay.
the changeup.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that you put someone that has a face contortion ability like him to
Right.
potentially play Two-Face.
Well, no, and sorry, I should be more specific. So Peter Sarsgaard is the middle brother.
Oh, you're right.
Bill
Yeah,
Sarsgaard is the guy who played It. Is the guy who played
yeah.
Pennywise. Uh,
So this is the guy that was the villain in Green Lantern.
that's correct. But he was
Okay.
also in. He's also been in a few other movies. He was in
Right.
Garden State, and he's a good actor. I
Yeah,
actually like
he's a
him
good
the
actor.
most out of the three.
For sure. He's a good actor too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, lots. I mean, there's just so much on the way.
Pretty exciting times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure what our next topic will be, but we'll obviously be leading up to the Fandome
Yeah,
and
part two.
speculating on the multiverse and what they could possibly bring.
Maybe get an haircut announcement soon. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope so, man. That's the only way that doing the Fandome is worth it. If they're officially trying to break off versions of the Snyder Cut into a separate multiverse, that works for me.
Yeah.
And then you have the characters kind of float in and out. because we
Yeah.
saw the Flash show up on the Flash TV. I think that's kind of what they're going to announce is the Arrowverse Flash TV is going to maybe do more crossover that like the Avengers refused to do with Agents of Shield
Oh, that's
completely
a good point. Yeah, maybe.
because they're doing a whole fandom called the multiverse. What else could they really introduce?
Right. I'm guessing that's probably an event to break it down for dummies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the Yellow Book Multiverse for Dummies 101 or
yeah.
whatever. But
Pretty
yeah,
cool,
man,
man.
exciting. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll probably be I don't know if we'll be back next week. We probably will. We might not. I don't know. It kind of depends on what happens next. But if you do anything, go watch the Snyder Cut trailer and the Batman trailer multiple times. They're fucking awesome. And we'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much.
Yep, thanks, guys.